What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to JD's Nerdverse. We're doing a prediction video today for Igglybuff, the balloon Pokemon. This is the pre-evolved form of Jigglypuff, the baby form I should say. This Pokemon is extremely weird. This design is not, it's kind of creepy. It has a swirl on of its face, so it reminds me of Jigsaw and Spiral. It has, I don't know what's on top of its head, and those eyes are just very soul piercing. But let's go ahead and go over the stats of this Pokemon. So it has 90 HP, which is very high amount of HP. Attack is 30. That's not great, but it's good for a baby Pokemon, I guess. Defense is 15. Special attack is 40. Special defense is 20, and speed is 15. So there's a reason why this Pokemon has high HP, because it has no defense. This Pokemon is very frail. It's very squishy. No pun, I mean, it looks squishy, so no pun intended on that. And yeah, that's why we have a lot of HP. We are very slow. We actually are kind of a balanced attacker, honestly. 30 attack and 40 special attack. That's pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty decent. So, that being our stats, we evolve into Jigglypuff when our friendship gets pretty high. So, HP with Jigglypuff is 115. So again, a lot of HP and very low attack, or very low defense. Attack is 45, defense is 20. Special attack is 45, special defense is 25, and speed is 20. So still very slow. Still very frail, but our attack and special attack are not horrible, so they're actually probably a little bit of our saving grace, and HP is 115. So what's pretty good about that is if we need to use struggle, we have a lot of hit points to kind of work with. And whenever we use a Moonstone on Jigglypuff, we will evolve into Wigglytuff. Its final form, 140 HP, a lot of buff there. 70 attack, 45 defense, 75 special attack. Special defense, I'm sorry, is 50. And speed is 45, so still stays slow, but it's actually, I would say it's a pretty decent special attacker. So we can do physical moves, we can do non-physical, like special moves, and they're going to be pretty much about as effective as one's going to be as effective as the other. The problem is we just don't have great defense, but if we can hit some things, and we got a lot of buff to take some stuff. So it just really depends on how we play this, how the strategy plays out. So let's go over the moveset of Igglybuff. Igglybuff does not have a decent moveset at all. So it starts off with Sing, which Sing has its use. I will say it's going to have a use. 55% accurate. It puts opposition to sleep, but this actually is garbage with this move. Okay, absolute garbage. It was Generation 1 might be a little more worth it, because in Generation 1 you put them to sleep, and when they wake up they can't attack on that turn, so you can just go right back to putting them to sleep. Not in this generation. This generation you put them to sleep, they can attack you when they wake up in the same turn. Charm. Charm, actually, I've done a little research. Charm actually lowers the opposition's attack, so that actually wouldn't be unuseful. And Defense Curl ups our defense by 1 stage. Now, here's the problem with this. As you can see, we start out level 5. So we have Sing, Charm, and Defense Curl. None of them can attack a Pokemon. So we have to, early in the game, deplete all of our power points. All 40 from Defense Curl, 20 from Charm, and 15 from Sing, just to actually get struggle to actually try to level up. And there's no Metapods in this gen. I mean, there might be. Maybe I didn't look hard enough for them, but I don't think there's any Metapods you can find. I think the only one I can think of is Hoppip. I think if we found a Hoppip, we could do this, but that's all the way on the other side of whatever city you go to. I don't remember what it's called. You got the first city you start out in, then the next one, little town where you head up towards what's his name, Professor Oak, and Mr. Mr. Pokemon, I guess. But my point being that we don't have any moves, so we gotta use struggle early until we get Pound. Now we get Pound, like I said, we don't have great attack stats, but it's 40, and Pound is 40 base power, and it's stab. So it's 60 base power, it's 100% accurate. So that's actually not a horrible move to start the game with, and we do kind of level up our moveset pretty well. We also get access to Sweet Kiss. Again, don't know what it does. I think it's supposed to draw in Pokemon around you or something like that. Maybe that's Sweet Scent, I don't know. But Sweet Kiss is definitely not useful. And we will go over the Jigglypuff moveset, because we evolve in Jigglypuff, and it really just depends on when we evolve. Because if we evolve, we actually can get some pretty decent moves. So if I start out with Jigglypuff, this would be our moveset. A lot more effective. We don't have Charm. I don't know why you wouldn't have Charm if that is the case. But we still get Pound, still get Disable. Now, Rollout is one we can get at 19, which is pretty nice. But again, we're not going to get a lot of these moves because we have to get a very high friendship to play as Jigglypuff and to evolve in Jigglypuff. So I would venture to say we might evolve before we get Double Edge. Okay, we might evolve. I doubt we'll evolve before Body Slam's available, which I would love to have Body Slam. An 85 base power normal move with the ability to paralyze. That's great. But we're not going to. I can guarantee that. I think we might be able to do it right around when we get Double Edge. That's it. So with the Moonstone, we'll evolve into Wigglytuff, and this will be our TM moveset. Again, until we evolve into Jigglypuff, we do not have access to any of this. Okay? Our Jigglypuff moveset, there's no punches. Because I guess Jigglypuff does not have hands. If you look at this picture of Igglybuff, where's Iggly? There he is. Looks like he has little hands, but if you look at Jigglypuff, it's not much different, and Wigglytuff, it's not much different either. But however, Wigglytuff and Jigglypuff are the only ones that can learn the elemental punches and like dynamic punch and things like that, whereas Igglybuff cannot. I don't know why. It does not make sense to me. It's probably the same reason why like Pichu couldn't learn a punch. I guess babies can't punch. I guess that's what it is. So the moveset, Dynamic Punch, we'll probably try to use the same strategy we did with Cleafa, where we save Dynamic Punch for Red and his Snorlax. Okay, Headbutt. It's a stab move, 70 base power. We will add it as soon as we get the opportunity to use it. So 70 base power, 100% accurate, can make the opposition flinch if you go first. So I don't know how often I'm going to go first, but it's a nice move. Curse, we're not going to use. Rollout will probably be used with this Pokemon. It builds. It's a rock type. And because we don't outspeed anything really well, and we don't have a great move. We do get access to Mud Slap, but that's not gonna be great against like Ghost Pokemon. So Rollout will have a really good use against Morty. Toxic we're not gonna use. Zap Cannon we're not gonna use. Psych Up we're not gonna use. Hidden Power will be Hidden Power Fighting. Hidden Power Flying for fighting type Pokemon. Okay. And we also have access to Sunny Day, Snore. I'm not going to use either one of those. Blizzard, we're not going to use either. I would love to get Blizzard, but it's probably going to cost too much money to get. Hyper Beam, we have access to. We are normal type. It's very powerful. But again, that's going to go off our physical attack stat. I just don't see a scenario where this would work really well for us. And the reason why I say that is because Hyper Beam's like a post-game move where I can get it in the post-game. I think that's how you get it. Maybe you can get it sooner. I don't know. But the problem with Hyper Beam is, let's say I use it and I use it against Red. And I use it and then I have to take a whole turn to reboot. I don't have the hit points to really take on, or the defense to take on a lot of hits. So I don't think Hyper Beam is going to be useful. Maybe it's like one of those break glass in case of emergency kind of moves, but I don't think that's the case. Protect, not going to use. Rain Dance, not going to use. We don't have a water move, so there's no use in using Rain Dance. Endure, Frustration, Solar Beam, not going to use. Thunder could be useful, but we're not going to use it. Return, definitely useful. As a normal type Pokemon, Return maxes out with Friendship at 102. As a normal type Pokemon, this gets boosted with Stab up to 153. So it's a very powerful move, and when you add in the Pink Bow, and when you also add in the fact that you can beat Miss Whitney's Gym, there's two 10% boosts right there. This becomes a very powerful move. Psychic will probably be used a little bit. Shadow Ball probably won't. Mud Slap will be used because it's the only way we're going to get past the second rival. Have to use it. Double Team, I'm not going to use Ice Punch. Is also a move we're going to use. This makes it so we don't have to do Hidden Power Ice. And when you pair that with Price's Gem and the Never Melt Ice, it becomes a decently powerful move. It's definitely going to help us get through one Elite Four member and one Gym Leader very easy. Swagger, Sleep Talk, Fire Blast, not going to use. Defense Curl could be used, but I just don't think there's not. That's a move for setup. If you have time to set up, Defense Curl would be great because it coincides very well with Rollout. But we don't have time to set up, so that's the problem with this Pokemon. We're already frail, and things are going to outspeed us, and they're going to put the hurt on pretty quickly. Thunder Punch is 75 base power. This will get boosted by the Magnet. Dream Eater would be not horrible, but you have to keep singing the entire game until you get Dream Eater, which not useful in my opinion. Detect, not going to use. Rest, could use. We have a lot of hit points. We can replenish those really easy. The only problem is we're frail, so we can hit a lot while we're resting. The only thing I think it would be helpful for is getting like ailments like paralyze or poison or something like that. Fire Punch, we are going to use. It's going to help make one gym pretty easy. 75 base power, 100% accurate. With the charcoal, it'll make this a 10% boost, and then eventually, I mean, we'll beat Blaine, but we'll be well into the end of the game, near the end of the game with that. Nightmare, not going to use. Strength and Flash, not going to use. So, like I said, it's actually, you want to know something crazy? It's actually the same exact move pool as Clefable. They did not change one thing about these move pools. They probably looked at it and like, oh, well, no one's going to notice. Well, it is 2024, and the game's been out since 2020, I think. No, 2000. I'm sorry, 2000, not 2020. But I think Gold and Silver came out in 1999. This came out in 2000. I noticed. It took me 20 years, but I noticed, guys. But that's our moveset. So let's go ahead and go over the prediction for this video. This is going to be a tough Pokemon to play through because first off, we have to use Struggle just to get through, just to level up. I mean, just to level up and get pounds. So right there, we have to do that. Now we're going to over level a little bit because there's no point in facing trainers while you're trying to get the pound because it's unreliable as heck. You have to use potions and all this other stuff is just not reliable. So we're gonna have to grind and get to level 9 before we can even attempt to fight trainers. I don't think we're gonna have to do that before we attempt to fight our rival. So we're gonna get level 9 before we even fight our rival. That has to be the strategy there. I don't think there's another way to do that. With bad stats, I mean, if it had great stats, I just use Struggle on the rival, but that's not the case. This is not good stats. So we want to get pound before we face our rival. So we're going to be level 9 when that happens, and we're going to face all these trainers that are going to be obsolete battles because of that. But it's going to take time to do that. It doesn't take a long time to delete power points, especially in this game. But it can take a decent amount of time. So that's the first problem you have. Second problem you have is if you don't level up the Jigglypuff, you don't have something that's going to counter a lot of things that are going to do well against you. So the whole point of leveling up is you get access to all the elemental punches. It gives you access options to beat things. So that's the problem. The hidden power, it can only do so much, like I said. And not to mention, like, if you don't level up, you're not going to outspeed a lot of things. I mean, even when you're Jigglypuff, we're probably not going to outspeed a lot of things anyway. Morty's gym is going to be a pain in the butt. It really is. It might be a temptation for me to evolve it if I can find the Moonstone beforehand. So that's the problem as well. And even when we get evolved in the Jigglypuff, like I said, defense is horrible. So if we take hits, we're not going to last very long in battles. But the move diversity does help. And when we evolve in the Wigglytuff, we do get maxed out stats. That's good. But we still have all these problems with the Pokemon. The attacks out of 70 is not super powerful. Okay? Special attack of 70 is not super powerful. It will be better than some Pokemon we've had, but it won't be great. I predict this thing will be, God, man, we're going to have to, it might be over 3 hours easily because just of how much we're going to struggle. We're going to have to go fight, like if I get the Morty, I guarantee I'm going to have to go fight other trainers, like all the way down to the lighthouse, just to get to a point where I might be able to beat Morty. Honestly, it might be at that point. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy playthrough by any stretch. But I'm excited to do it, but it's not going to be an easy playthrough by any stretch. So that's my prediction. I think it'll take about 3 hours. I think struggles will be Morty. I don't think Chuck will be a struggle because we're going to have access to Hidden Power Fly and we're going to have the Sharp Beak. So I think he won't be an issue. And we also should by that point have Thunder Punch. So I don't think he'll be a problem. I don't think Jasmine will be a problem because we have Fire Punch and Charcoal to boost the attack by 10%. I don't think Claire will be a problem. Claire, we will have Ice Punch by then. So when I look at all those things, the only problems we're going to have is I don't think Faulkner's Gym will be a problem. I don't think Bugsy will be too hard. I do think the second rival fight will be a crapshoot because we're going to have to rely on him not hitting Hypnosis. And we're going to have to hit 2 Mud Slaps. And we go seconds because we're so slow. So we're going to have to be at the mercy of whatever the random AI chooses for that fight. And then the Elite Four, I think we'll do pretty good in the Elite Four. We have move diversity, so it's going to make the battle not easy, but it's not going to be super hard either. When you have options at moves, it does help. It does help immensely. And then I think all the gyms in Kanto will be fine. And in Red's going to be a problem. Red will outspeed. I think we'd have to be level mid-80s, I think, to outspeed Pikachu. Or even higher, because Pikachu is very fast. Okay? Same with Espeon, so those two are going to get hits on us before we even knock them out. And we always have Snorlax as a problem, and we got to rely on a 50% accurate move to potentially beat Snorlax. So, it's going to be tough. And I think the Pokemon after that are not going to be too bad. But again, Charizard is also very fast, so he's going to outspeed us. no matter what level we're at. So it's going to be a very tough playthrough, but I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to show it to you. Let me just think in the comment section down below. Do you think Igglybuff, Jigglypuff, or Wigglytuff, is this going to be a solid playthrough, or do you think it's going to be a rough grind that I'm going to have? So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys on Friday.